Hi guys. Hope you guys are good. Hope you guys are well. Guys, come on. When I look at the numbers of the people who viewed my videos and the subscribers, the numbers are not balancing. Guys, we're doing maths here. Let's balance the numbers. What you do on the left hand side, we must do also on the right hand side. So let's balance the number of views and the number of likes and the number of subscribers. But anyways, let's get into today's business. So we are dealing with derivatives. So a derivative of a function at a point. So we use derivatives to find at least two things now that you have to know. At this point in time, you have to know that we need to find the rate of change of a function at the point. The first one is what? The rate of change of a function at a point. So the first one, you find the rate of change of a function at the point, and then the second one, we find the gradient or the slope of a function at a point. We find the gradient. How do you write gradient again? Or slope of a function at a point. So the general formula for calculating a gradient of a function, let's say we have a function y equals to f of x. This is our function. So the derivative of this function, we'll find it using this principle, this formula. F prime of x equals to f of x, equals to the limit as h approaches 0 of what? F of x plus h divided by minus f of x divided by h. So if we have a function y equals to f of x or any function, we use that function, whether it be g of x, here it was going to be g of x. Since it's f of x, here is what? F prime of x of a limit of f prime of x is equals to the limit as h approaches 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x into over h. So this is what we use to find what? To find the derivatives. But there are many ways that you can use to find derivatives. And also, it can be in this form. It cannot be f prime of x. It can also be y prime. Can also be dy over dx over dy, can also be dx into f of x. So they'll basically ask you a question to determine the gradient of a function, or they will say determine y prime, determine dy over dx over dy. This is the derivative of y with respect to x. Derivative of y with respect to x. And or they can say dx into f of x. They are still asking you one and the same thing. They are asking you to what? To find the derivative of of the function f of x. And then now there are many ways in which we can derive a function. We can find a derivative of a function. So whenever we are finding the derivative, we call that, we say we are deriving. The process of finding a derivative is deriving. Not driving, but deriving. Driving, deriving, whatever, but we are not driving, we are deriving. Okay, let's get into our first method. The first one is going to be the famous one, the first principle. So this formula, you'll find it on your answer sheet, on your formula sheet. So you don't have to really stress about it, but just know how to work on it. So the first one is the first. Sorry about that. Let's try a different marker. The first one is the first principle. First principle. There we go. It states that f prime of x is equals to the limit as h approaches 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x in over h. So this is the first principle, and this formula you will be given on your answer sheet, so you don't have to stress about it, as I've said. If you didn't subscribe yet, please consider subscribing, like and share with your friends. Let's get into the business. Now we are given a function. They say determine, this is an example. Determine from the first principle the derivative of f of x equals to negative 3x squared. So this question can come in a different ways. Like, it can come in different ways. They can say determine f prime of x. They can say determine f prime of x. You remember f prime of x is still the same thing as the derivative. F prime of x dx into f of x dx over dy. So it's still the same thing. There's different ways in which they can ask you the question, but still they are asking for the very same thing, the derivative. So you have to know those notation for a derivative, that we have y prime, we have dx over dy, we also have dx into what's this, f of x, and also we have f prime of x. So this is one and the same thing. Y prime dx over dy, dx into f of x, or f of x, f prime of x, I mean. So it's one and the same thing. So now let's determine the derivative of f of x plus, of f of x equals to negative 3x squared. So now we are going to use this formula. The limit, the f prime of x equals to the limit as h approaches 0, f of x plus h minus f of x into over h. And then we can notice that we have f of x plus h. but here we are only given what? F of x. So we can substitute f of x in this formula, but we can't substitute f of x plus h because we don't have f of x plus h. Can you see that? And then now we have to find a way to find what? F of x plus h. But we see this is f. Where there was supposed to be x, now there's what? X plus h. So let's say we have this. Hey guys, my markers, I don't know what's happening, but yeah, let's continue. Let's continue. We have f of x plus h. So now here it's negative 3x squared. So where there's x, we're going to put x plus h. You see, because here there was x, we've put what? X plus h. And then now where there's x here, we also have to put x plus h. Then it's negative. You're going to get a negative 3x plus h squared. And then you do the maths. My markers, guys, they are giving me problems today. They don't want you to learn. Okay, let's go. X plus h squared. Let's simplify this first. It's gonna be negative 3. Then we have x plus h squared, means the brackets are twice or they are 2 or whatever you call it in English, as long as you get what I'm saying, guys. Let's move. We have x plus h, and then now when we multiply the x and the x, we get what? We get, still have the negative 3 here. We get x squared, and then multiply the x plus h, you get xh. And then you come this side to multiply the h plus x, you get xh. Now you have 2hx plus 2xh. Guys, I cannot teach you factorizing at this point. We'll do it when we do algebra. So I think, I assume you know this one. And then h multiplied by h is what? Positive h squared. So this is what you get. And then multiply with the 3 throughout now. Negative 3 multiplied by x squared, you get negative 3x squared. Negative 3 multiplied by 2xh, you get negative 6xh. Negative 3 multiplied by h, it's negative 3h squared. For the sake of space, let's erase what we have on the board already. I'm sure you've paused the video and you managed to write everything down. We have now f of x plus h being, what was it, negative 3x squared minus 6xh minus 3h squared. So this was f of x and f of x plus h, and f of x was negative 3x squared. So now let's use the formula. The formula says f prime of x is equals to the limit as h approaches 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x over h. So in the final exam, or in any exam or assignments or test, they will always tell you to use the first principle. They're going to state that you should use what? The first principle. So the first principle is whereby you follow this procedure. And then now we have f of x plus h. This is f of x plus h. We substitute it here. And f of x we have, it's negative 3x squared. And then we put it here. So we get the limit as h approaches 0. Please don't drop this. There's a point where we are going to drop this, the limit of h minus h of a, the limit as h approaches 0. And then now instead of f of x plus h, you put negative 3x squared minus 6x h minus 3h squared. And then there's a negative, there's a minus here. That's the minus. F of x, always put brackets here, please. Safety first, always put brackets. And then we have what's f of x is negative 3x squared, all divided by h. But now when we look at this one, negative times a negative is what? It's a positive, right? And then we're gonna have what? Positive 3x squared. Negative 3x squared and positive 3x squared. This will give you a 0. That means these two will cancel out each other. And then you have the limit as h approaches 0. This cancels each other, then you will be left with 6x h minus 3h squared divided by h. And then now, to get rid of this h, you have to take out what? A common factor. You take out h from the top side. You take out h. You will now have the limit of h is h of f of x is h approaching 0, and then you have h into negative 6x minus 3h over h. I hope you can see that. And then now, what you do, you cancel out what? The h. This h, you cancel out this h. And then this is what you'll be left with. You will be left with a negative 6x minus 3x. But you're saying as h approaches 0, therefore you put 0 where there's what? Where there's h. Now you can drop the limit. You will say, sorry about that. You will say negative 6x minus 3. Since you say h approaches 0, where there's h you put the 0. And then you will get what? Your answer to be negative 6x, negative 6x. So this is your final answer. This is the derivative of this function. This is the derivative of what? Of this function. If they ask you to find the derivative of this function at a point x equals to 2, they will give you, they say x equals to 2. Then you will find the derivative, and then you'll say, therefore, x at, you'll say at x equals to 2, they give you 2. And then you'll simply subtract, say, equals to negative 6, subtract 2, and then you'll get your answer to be 12. So at 2, this is just an example, but the final answer for now is this one. So if they maybe ask you to say to find the value of or to find the gradient at x equals to 2, you simply simplify 2, you simply substitute 2 where there's x. I hope this makes sense. Please don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll drop my number on the description below. Feel free to ask me any question. I'm willing to help with the help that I will be able to help with. But yeah, this is it for now.
Thank you for watching.